welcome back. So I've started new series of videos. Instead of lengthy 1 hour or 45 minutes videos, I'm making short videos of each topic. I hope this will be useful for y'all. So let us start off with our first topic, that is learning. In this particular video, I will be covering definition of learning, nature, characteristics, cycle of learning, learning process, interdependence of learning and maturation, factors influencing learning, attributes of learning, various types of learning. So let us see the definition of learning. Learning is a continuous process through which an individual will acquire knowledge, skills, habits, attitudes, and values. Okay. It brings a permanent change in the behavior of the individual because of his experiences, practice, and training. Okay, it will help not only bring a change in the behavior of the person, but it will help a particular individual to adjust to the environment and solve problems effectively. So these are the various definitions given by various psychologists. What are the key elements of learning? Learning is a process. It is not something that will get over in a single day. It is a continuous process. It is based on the experiences which people receive and practice, how they put those experiences into practice. It results a permanent change in the behavior of the individual. It involves acquisition of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values. It enables adjustment to the environment. So it will help a particular learner adjust to his environment. Nature and characteristics of learning. So what is the nature of learning? It is a continuous and lifelong process. So learning begins at the womb and ends at the tomb. Please remember these womb and tomb words, very important for your competitive exams. It is universal. That means every individual will learn, no matter how rich you are, how poor you are, you will learn till the end of your life. So it is universal and takes place in every single individual. It is purposeful and it is goal oriented. It is an active process and it requires the participation, as it requires a participation of the individual. The individual should actively participate in the learning process. It is influenced by experience and practice. So whatever experiences a person will receive, he has to put it into practice in order to learn it permanently. Okay, it helps the individuals to adjust to the changing situation. It is individual. Okay, learning is individual. Every learner learns at a different pace. Okay, if all learners do not learn at the same pace, they learn at a different pace. Okay, what are the characteristics of learning? It brings a permanent change in the behavior of the individual. Learning can be positive or negative depending upon the experiences, and learning develops knowledge, skills, habits, attitudes, and values. It improves performance and efficiency of the individual. And it cannot be directly observed, and it should be inferred from from the behavior of the individual. Okay. The individual will not tell directly that he is learning. Okay. The change that he has undergone should be inferred or should be identified from his behavior. Okay, learning is transferable from one situation to another. That means a person learns a particular thing from a particular experience that he have received in his life, and he will experience, uh, he will transfer or he will apply that particular knowledge he has learned in that particular situation to other situations also. That is the meaning of transferability in learning. Learning contributes to the overall development of personality. Then, cycle of learning. So, it is a continuous cycle. Okay. Here, what is the cycle? First, experience. Then, the person will get a particular experience. From that experience, a learner will reflect. Reflect means what I have learned from the experience, the learner will think and he will form a concept. Okay. Then he will apply the knowledge that he have gained. And then he will gain a new experience. And then that becomes a continuous learning. Okay. Experience means the learner encountering a new situation. Reflection means the learner is thinking about the experience that he has received. Then concept formation. That means from the experiences, from whatever he learned out of those experiences, he will develop ideas and principles. Then the learner applies the new knowledge in his real life situation. Then again, a new experiences generated. So it is a cycle, never ending cycle. In the previous slide, we have seen learning is a continuous cycle. Now learning is a process. Okay, what is that means? It has a series of well-defined steps. So it is a systematic process through which individual acquires knowledge, skills, attitude, and values. Okay, so the starting point of learning process is need or motivation. That means there should be a need or there should be some motivating factor for that person to learn. And it ends with the behavioral change. So behavioral change is the final end point of learning. So what are the stages in learning process? First, it should have a need or motivating or a driving factor. Then setting. So based on this need, the person will set the particular goal. Then learning will happen. The activity of learning will happen. Then practice and reinforcement. So whatever knowledge we have learned, if it is not put into practice, then it is of no use. Okay. Then behavioral change will happen. Then evaluation. That means how far whatever we have learned is useful. Okay. That is evaluation. Okay. Then improvement. Then after evaluating, you will know where you have loopholes or where you have flaws. Then you can, based on that evaluation results, you can improve and then continuous learning can happen. Okay, so this is the explanation. Then how is learning dependent on maturation? How are learning and maturation dependent on each other? See, we often confuse both terms, okay, learning and maturation. But in actual sense, both of them are not same. Both of them are different. Okay. What is the meaning of maturation? Maturation is a natural process, whereas learning is acquired, it is gained externally. Okay, maturation is a natural process of physical, mental, emotional, and social growth that occurs according to an individual's genetic potential. So, where in learning, we have not seen this genetics come into play. Okay, learning is all by external factors, is acquired by external factors, whereas maturation is um, you know is governed by the genetics. Okay, it prepares the individual for learning. So in order to learn something, you need to be matured. Okay, so what is the relationship between learning and maturation? Let us see. Learning is acquired through experience and practice, that is external agencies, whereas maturation occurs naturally through growth. Okay, it is governed by the genetics, it is influenced by the environment, maturation is influenced by heredity. Learning can be accelerated through teaching. Okay, learning, there are various external agencies that can speeden up learning, whereas maturation, it cannot be hurried or delayed significantly, because whatever genes you have, you cannot change your genes, right? It results in behavioral change. Learning, maturation, it results in physical and mental readiness. Okay, it is learning is related to behavior. Then how both of them are dependent? Okay, maturation provides readiness for learning, it makes a learner ready to learn. Okay, learning on the other hand, it develops the abilities made possible by the maturation. So maturation will make a person ready and then learning takes over. Okay, that means a person is learner ready because of learning ready because of maturation. Okay, it develops the abilities which are made possible by maturation. That means only by maturation, only if a person is matured, he can learn. Okay, effective learning occurs when the learner is developmentally ready. He should be matured to learn. Okay, both learning and maturation are essential for overall development of an individual. Okay. Example, you see, a child cannot learn to write before the muscles of the hand are sufficiently developed. That means physical maturation should happen. For a person to learn, for a person to write, learn writing, his muscles and of the hands should be matured completely. Okay. So maturation provides readiness. That means maturation makes a person ready, while learning develops the writing skills through practice. Okay. Maturation is the readiness, and learning will enhance the writing skills through practice. Then, what are the factors that are influencing learning? There are many factors, out of which the main they are divided into internal and external factors. Internal factors includes intelligence, motivation, then interest, attention and concentration, then readiness, how a person is ready, how much a person is ready. Then health and fitness, physical fitness also is very important. Then emotional stability, then memory of the person, how far he can remember things in order to practice something, in order to learn something. Memory power is very important. Okay, so these are the internal factors. What are the external factors? First, home environment. Okay, anything, if a child has to learn something, it should begin at home. So the home environment should be very should facilitate the learning. That means parents should show love and care. Okay, love and care towards the children. Okay, all these are also very, very important for learning. If and then the home should highly be, home should be ventilated. Home should have nice airy environment. Okay, it should have enough sunlight coming in. So all these come under the home environment. Okay, the school environment, teachers should be very loving and caring. The classroom should be well ventilated. The seating arrangement should be proper. Okay, then teacher's competence, how much knowledge the teacher is having. Then teaching method, what methods teacher uses for teaching. Teacher should use all kinds of methods, discussions, project methods, lecture method. Then she should also, conduct lot of group discussions, and she should use various kinds of technological tools to make the class interesting and motivate the students for learning. Then various learning resources that the teacher uses, like laboratory, playgrounds, etc. Then classroom climate, then peer groups, friends are also very important. Then family support. Family support is most important for anything. Okay, then what are the various attributes of learning? Okay, learning is a lifelong process. Okay, it is from womb to tomb. It is a continuous process. It is a purposeful process. That is, it is goal oriented. Then it is an active process. That means it requires a continuous participation of the student. It is experience based. That means the learner learns through the experiences that he gains. Then it involves behavioral change. It produces permanent and long lasting changes in the individuals. It is universal. That means every individual, it is common to all individuals. Every individual, no matter what status he is, from what place he comes from, every individual will learn. No matter how much rich, how much poor he is, every individuals will learn. Then it is individualistic. That means learning varies. Every person is not the same. So it will vary from person to person. It is transferable. That means a person learns a knowledge at a particular knowledge, and he will apply it into different situations of life. And it is adaptive. It helps a person adjust to various situations around him. Then what are the types of learning? Very, very important. Informal learning. That means the learning that takes place through daily life experiences. Okay. That means it doesn't have a proper structure. It doesn't have a proper organization, but learning happens. That means daily life experiences without a proper curriculum or formal instructions. Example, learning good manners from family members. That is in an informal setting only, right? Then formal learning. That means it takes place through schools, colleges, and other educational institutions. It has a proper curriculum and it has proper guidance of teachers. Example, classroom teaching. Then you come to non-formal teaching, non-formal learning. Okay, it takes place outside the formal education systems. Like you go to tuitions, or you are weak in maths and you go to some maths tuition to improve in maths. So such learning which occurs outside the school is called non-formal learning, but that also has a proper structure and syllabus and curriculum, like computer courses, skill development programs, adult education. Okay, any learning that takes place outside the school, like your coaching and all, is called non-formal education. Then individual learning. Okay, learning that occurs individual, that occurs in the learner space. Okay, in the speed of the learner, ability and interest. That means self-study. Okay, that is individual learning. It takes place independently according to the learner's speed, ability, and the interest. Then group learning, the learning that occurs when learners work together by sharing ideas and experiences to achieve common learning objectives. That means group discussions and group projects. Then you come to verbal learning, learning through words, language, reading, listening, speaking, or writing. Okay, learning through poetry or vocabulary, something that is written. Then motor learning, learning through physical movements and muscle coordination, like cycling, swimming, handwriting, etc. Then concept learning. Okay, learning that enables an individual to understand the concept. Okay, understand and classify various objects, ideas based on their common characteristics. Okay, that means he will learn the concept of that particular topic. Okay, understanding the concept of the triangle. Okay, then discrimination learning. Okay, he learning to distinguish between similar objects, ideas, and situation. Example, distinguishing between vowels and consonants. Then sensory learning. Okay, learning occurs through sense organs like seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling. Example, identifying flowers based on their fragrance. Okay, and then you come to stimulus learning. What is stimulus learning? Learning that occurs when an individual responds to a particular stimulus through repeated practice. Example, okay, sorry. Learning that occurs when an individual responds to a particular stimulus present in the environment. Okay. Example, student becoming attentive when the school bell is ringing. Okay. School bell is the stimulus. So, student is becoming attentive. Attention is the response. Okay. So, a person responding to a particular stimulus. That means a student will learn that when the bell rings, I have to become attentive. Okay. That is the stimulus learning. Then response learning. Okay. Here, the learning involves giving an appropriate response to a particular stimulus through repeated practice. Okay. Writing the correct answer after reading a question. Okay, he is reading a question and he is giving an appropriate response. That is response learning. Okay, so these are the types of learning. So I hope you are uh, you have understood anything. If you have any problem or if you are not able to understand anything in this particular slide, you can always uh, write a comment in the comment section. I will find some way to clear your doubt. If you have any suggestions also, please leave those suggestions in the comments. I will definitely respond to your comments. Thank you.